So let's go over the Sam Darnold situation with the Panthers. It's kind of a weird one because after week 3 this year, it felt like Sam Darnold was going to be the future franchise quarterback of the Panthers, but of course, things in the past month and a half, 2 months have gone very bad for him. Not just the injury, but the way he's been playing there, and the Panthers started losing more games. Now, rewind back to September 23rd of this year, and the Panthers were 3-0 coming off a Thursday night victory at the Texans, and Sam Darnold had the Panthers undefeated. He had a 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio, 99 quarterback rating, a 68% completion percentage, and he just escaped Adam Gase. And everyone said, okay, Sam Darnold might be the franchise quarterback here for the Panthers. And they were looking smart. It was like, okay, they got him for a second, a fourth, and a sixth round pick. Great trade by the Panthers. But now, just 2 months later, it's crazy how quickly things change in the NFL. The Panthers might be in some deep crap with the Sam Darnold trade, and I'll go over why in a second. So for 2022, the Panthers picked up the 5th-year rookie contract option for Sam Darnold. So basically, Sam Darnold's cap hit for the Panthers next year is $18.8 million. Now that is guaranteed, I believe. If they were to cut Sam Darnold or trade him, they would still have to pay him the $18.8 million. So if you're the Panthers, you might as well keep the guy because it's going to hurt you even more if he's not there. So Sam Darnold's contract is probably going to keep him a Panther next year unless they flat out cut him and take the pretty big cap hit here, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Now, is it possible that Cam Newton at 32 years old has a really great second half? I mean, maybe. I'm not expecting that. But Sam Darnold, the way he played after week 3 has been horrendous. He's been probably the worst quarterback in football. From weeks 4 through 9, Sam Darnold had some very, very ugly numbers. So he had a 54 completion percentage. This is in 6 games, by the way, so it's a pretty nice sample size. 54 completion percentage, 4 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, a 56 quarterback rating. He was sacked 6 times, and he did have 2 rushing touchdowns, but he also lost a fumble. It was just really bad. Like, Sam Darnold was not even looking like an NFL caliber player. He looked more like a CFL caliber player from weeks 4 through 9. Now, of course, Carolina is at 5-5. I believe they're 500 now. Yeah, so they won Sunday, beat Arizona surprisingly with PJ Walker and Cam Newton. Now, is it possible that somehow Cam Newton has a great second half with the Patriots and is back next year on a cheap contract, and that can kind of salvage the Sam Darnold situation? It's possible, but I'm not counting on it. I do think Sam Darnold has a shot next year once again. It's crazy to say that, but I don't know if the Panthers can get rid of this contract. I don't know if it's possible. So I'm not sure who is trading for Sam Darnold right now. That would make no sense. It just feels like the Panthers took that chance. Matt Rule and the rest of the coaching staff was confident they could change him, and they couldn't change him. Now, how much of it was the shoulder injury? I don't know. I'm not going to blame, I'm not going to use that as an excuse to give a reason why Sam Darnold was like the worst quarterback in football. This just might be who Sam Darnold is. He's a streaky quarterback. We've seen some flashes of brilliance from him in the past, but for most of his time in the NFL, he's been underwhelming. And this stretch from weeks 4 through 9 was some of the worst we've seen from him. Now, I get his situation in Carolina is not the best. Their offensive line, according to PFF, was 29th in the NFL in pass blocking, so it could be better. But when you have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, I know McCaffrey was out for a lot of it, so I can't even use him, but I feel like they had enough where he should not have been this bad. So it's a really sticky situation for them. I think they have to keep him, and he may have to be their starter again next year. Is there a chance they draft somebody on a cheap contract? Yes, but at the same time, I mean, the Panthers don't really have enough draft capital, I feel like, to move up now, because looking at the Panthers draft picks for 2022, they traded their second round pick, of course, to the Jets for Sam Darnold. Then they traded their third round pick for cornerback CJ Henderson from Jacksonville. So those are 2 pretty high picks, valuable picks that were gone due to trades. So now the Panthers have a first round pick next year. That's valuable, but a first-round pick is not going to get you a very high-tier quarterback. You wouldn't think, at least. They have a 4th-round pick from the Texans, 5th from the Jaguars, their own 5th, a 6th, and a 7th. So they don't have the best draft capital in the world. They're not sitting on 2 or 3 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks and 3 third, right? They don't have that. They have some pretty underwhelming looking draft picks for next year. And their first round pick, let's say the Panthers find a way to win a few more games, which they might go 8-9 this year, and their draft pick might be somewhere in like that high teens area, which is not a very attractive first round pick. Maybe they like a quarterback, but is a good quarterback in the fall to pick number 16, 17, 18. Sometimes it happens. We saw Mac Jones fall to pick 15, I think, this year, but Mac Jones was a perfect fit for that system. So I don't know what they're going to do, honestly. It is a very bad situation that looked great back in September, but now Carolina is in a bad spot. And Matt Rule definitely has to be questioned. He was the one who probably wanted to make this trade, and, you know, I don't really think they're going to take away all of his personnel decision-making over there, but Matt Rule definitely has to answer some questions about this because it's not going the way they expected it to. Now, I do think with Darnold's injury, it's more of a pain tolerance thing, so if Sam Darnold was playing in a playoff game this week or the Super Bowl, he probably could have played through this, but I think he was playing so bad that the Panthers were looking for any excuse to just put this guy on the bench and get rid of him for now and just give Sam Darnold like this little mental vacation or something, because it has not looked good whatsoever. So I think the timetable when he was out was like 4 to 6 weeks or something, and at that point the season's going to be very close to over. You know, Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback until then, and I just don't really see Darnold coming back this year, so we may have to wait until 2022 to find out what to do with Sam Darnold. And I do think based on his contract and making the $18.8 million next year, it's going to be really tough for Carolina to move off him, so I kind of feel bad for Panthers fans. They went all in, and they kind of realized right after that Sam Darnold's not that good. So it's a bad situation, and they may just have to live with it for another year. Now, is there a chance the Panthers get really desperate and make a big trade for a Deshaun Watson or something? I mean, sure, but there's teams out there that can give away more for Deshaun Watson. Like, for instance, the Philadelphia Eagles have 3 first-round picks potentially if Carson Wentz plays enough snaps this year, plays I think 75% of the snaps. So if he does that, the Eagles have 3 first-round picks. They can offer something better to the Texans for Deshaun Watson if they want it. Now, Jalen Hurts has looked better lately, but if they can get Deshaun Watson, that's something they may want to do. So if they can offer more than the Panthers, why should the Texans be like, all right, we'll just give them to Carolina because we feel bad? No, it's not going to happen. So Carolina doesn't have the best trade offer for Deshaun Watson. That's the problem. They're kind of giving away their trade assets. I thought CJ Henderson for a 3rd round pick was pretty good value because Henderson was a top 10 pick less than a year ago. So I get that part of it, but you're also giving away assets that could be used to upgrade a quarterback in the future. So that's the downside to the whole situation. So as of today, I'm very interested to see how Cam Newton finishes out this year and what the Panthers do with their quarterback situation. Obviously, Matt Rule is probably not going anywhere. He's on like a 7-year contract. He'll be in year 3 next year. So I don't see that happening. They have to fix it. They made this mess. Now they have to fix it, and we'll see how they do it going forward. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you next time.